Thank you so much for your time this morning, Abrams. I mean, we all get very excited. We see some nice Christmas specials in grocery stores, and we just want to create the best festive experience. But it's no longer very affordable to do so, particularly in the time of the pandemic, where many people have lost critical sources of income.
Good morning, Refilba, and good morning to all your viewers. Yes, the prices of food has increased steadily over the past year. So when we look, for instance, at the end of November of 2021, so this November, and compare it to November last year, then the 44 very basic foods in our food basket has increased by 6.3% year on year. And that is a rand value of about 254 rand and 19 cents. And we have heard that the price of beef in particular have been spiking over the last few months. And at some retail stores, they are selling at 10% month on month between November and now in December. And so that's likely to impact consumers quite hard.
Why is that the reason that we are seeing food inflation come quite high, that steady increase that you've spoken about? What are some of the reasons that are informing the price of food? I think the price of oil might be one of those reasons because of transportation and fuel costs.
Yes, so there are a number of factors, some of which are global factors over which we have no control and some of which are local. So the global factors would include things like the increasing price of fuel, the difficulties around logistics of importing various kinds of foods. And then our local effect is, of course, increases in fuel prices. But then there is also something quite strange. So, for instance, we have seen that the price of maize meal has increased by 8% year on year, even though we had a bumper crop of maize. And part of the reason for that is that global prices of cereals and wheats have increased as countries are restocking their strategic reserves. And so South Africa has been exporting a lot of maize, and so our internal price is also beginning to track the same price as export prices. And that's making it quite difficult for local consumers.
What is the outlook, Mervyn? Is this something that consumers should brace for the short to medium term, or will we see some kind of deflation happening in the coming quarters?
So I think the price of food is going to steadily continue to increase because some of the factors that are leading to its increase are still there. So global fuel prices are on the increase, and that's going to impact. Of course, Eskom has asked NERSA for quite a large increase in electricity prices next year, and that will be fed through to the consumer through fuel prices, food prices. However, it's also to be noted that the price of vegetables, our summer vegetables, have come down. And so at least that will give a little bit of a respite. But as you've said, it's a season for braais, it's a season for really eating meat, and that's going to be particularly more expensive this year.
No, absolutely. And do you have some tips for consumers when they are doing their Christmas shopping, just to be vigilant for the best prices available for fruit, vegetables, and maybe instead of buying beef because it's a little bit more expensive, focus on something like pork or chicken? What would your tips be, Mervyn?
Yes, so I mean, a chicken price, I mean, chicken is not that cheap. It is, according to our index, has increased by 10% year on year at 10 kg. But yes, you are right. Chicken is still trending much lower than beef prices, as does pork. But one of the things we do in my household, and I suggest to others, is that before we go to do shopping, make a clear list of what you need. Write it down on a piece of paper, what exactly you need. And when you get into the shopping mall, you stick to that list only. Because there will be so many kind of, oh, this is a special and that. And before you realize you've bought so many things that you don't actually urgently require, and then you run out of money or you would have to spend. The second thing is, do not go into debt. Do not use credit cards, because remember, January is an extremely tough month. So try and not buy too many things for this festive season, but only those that you absolutely need.
Some sound advice there coming from you, Mervyn Abrahams, from the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group. You want to have a good Christmas and still enjoy your favorite meals. Make a list. Budget before going into the store, because I can tell you now, it's happened to me quite a few times. You will be overwhelmed by all sorts of specials and all sorts of goodies on sale. So save yourself the trouble and make a list and budget.